What's going on YouTube? It is your girl Laura Finesse, and we are back, okay? And you know we only come back when it's things like reviews for movies and shows that really move us. And y'all see the title, Deliverance. Yeah, I watched it. Now let me say this. Wait, before we even get into it, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. Leave me a comment. Let's have a discussion about this movie in the comments, because it was a lot to unpack. But also, it was a little anticlimactic, and it got a little crazy at the end, and I was like, right? So this video will contain spoilers. The movie just premiered today on Netflix, so if you haven't already, stop the video here, because I am going to include some spoilers. Go watch the video and then come on back and let's talk about it when y'all get back. Let's talk about it. So this movie is Deliverance, right? It's based on a true story. The backdrop is Philadelphia 2011, and you know, it is a supernatural movie, right? About, you know, the I don't want to say the underworld, but you know, the spiritual world, right? Now, before I get into the movie, I do want to say this. It's so funny that I was just having a conversation about a supernatural experience that I had a few years ago. So when I lived in Chicago, my old place, not my condo that I have now, but the place that I lived before there, I remember I woke up one morning and my son was in his room, and I woke up and I came into the kitchen, and y'all, every drawer and every cabinet was open in my kitchen. I kid you not. Every single drawer, every cabinet was open. And I was like, what was he looking for, right? So I called my son out of his room and I'm like, what were you looking for? He was still asleep. So he comes in the kitchen and he's, you know, wiping his eyes. He's like, I didn't do this. And I'm like, ain't nobody in here but me and you. What do you mean? What do you mean? Who did this? You know what I mean? It was very, very spooky and scary. I feel like I'm an empath, and so I'm very connected, I feel like, with spirits and stuff like that. But I had never had a hardcore experience like paranormal activity like that until then. So I Googled it, and it was like, if you know, like the kitchen is the gateway, and when all of the doors and drawers are open, that's a spirit trying to pass through. It signifies the spirit of an adolescent female or adolescent girl who's in turmoil. Mind you, it's just me and my son. I'm not an adolescent. He wasn't an adolescent either, but he was the adolescent, but he's a boy. So I was like, maybe it was him. And after that, you know, I have a video on my page about how my son was in a coma. He got hit by a car. And so that happened shortly after. So I don't know. Premonition, I couldn't tell you. But I do believe in the supernatural because I have experienced it firsthand. Not just an eerie feeling, but in the physical. When I say all the drawers and cabinets, I'm not exaggerating. And my kitchen was huge. I had so much storage underneath, so much storage overhead. My island, every single drawer and cabinet was open. So when I think about this movie and how it was based on a true story, some of the things they obviously played up for entertainment value. But I believe this happened. Okay, it's based on a true story. And Mr. Lee Daniels is the director. He came through and he said he finna do a movie about Deliverance. Now, I do believe that there was already a movie called Deliverance about this, but I don't think it was. And let me look while I'm talking about it. I might as well just, right. So there was a movie in 1972, and it actually had nothing to do with like a supernatural. Okay, so I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I had heard about a movie called Deliverance. So it has nothing to do with the supernatural, the one from 1972, because these events happened in 2011. So this is very recent, by the way, guys. So the movie starts, well, let's go through the characters. So the characters, and I have to look this up, y'all. I just finished watching it, so excuse me while I'm looking on my phone trying to get all of the details, because I want to make sure I get all the details for y'all. So as far as, first of all, Andra Day. I've never heard of Andra Day. I feel like she looks familiar. Maybe I've seen her on something, but I'm really not familiar with Evil Rihanna, okay? She gives very much Evil Rihanna mixed with Taraji. That's what she gives. It stars her. She plays the mom, Ebony. She has 3 kids. She has 2 boys and a girl. Nate, who is the oldest son, I think he's maybe 16, 15, 16. Shantae, who is her daughter, played by Demi Singleton. Also, Caleb McLaughlin, he was one of the Central Park 5. So he's got some really good acting chops when it comes to stuff like this. And you have the baby boy, who is the star? Why don't they show him in the cat? Oh, here he is. Anthony B. Jenkins, and he plays Andre. So you have Andre, Caleb, and Shantae. Those are her 3 kids. Now, she's a mixed lady, and her mom is played by none other than the Glenn Close. Okay? Let me just, hold on. For anybody who ain't old enough to know, let's talk about Auntie Glenn Close, because she's officially Auntie. Let me tell you, that, you know, there's like a saying in Hollywood that like Meryl Streep is the one that can play any character and you'll believe her. But baby, Glenn Close, everything Glenn Close has ever played in, she has done it to a T. I believe her. And this lady is playing a white lady who got a black baby daddy, and she like black men. I'm talking about bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. She got on her spandex, her Fashion Nova fit, her nameplate chain, baby, the nails, the 27-piece wig. Auntie Glenn Close, baby, I almost didn't even recognize her. I was like, wait, is that Glenn Close? Do they have her playing blackface? Because she's very, very tan in this movie. But no. Like, we're not gonna do that with Auntie Glenn. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Auntie Glenn is an OG. Okay, if you don't know, Auntie Glenn is like the OG side chick. She's the OG sneaky link. Don't let nobody tell you different. If you have never seen The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which what was that? Beyonce and Idris, they did When the Bow Breaks. Was that them? Whoever did When the Bow Breaks. Was that Beyonce and Idris, or was that a different movie? Anyway, they have redone The Hand That Rocks the Cradle 100 times. Where the premise is the husband is cheating with a little side piece, and the side piece want to be the main piece. Well, Glenn Close is the OG sneaky link. She cooking up rabbits, okay? She showed y'all in the late 80s, early 90s how to be a side piece. We not condoning it, okay? But we all done been young, and we all done been in a situation before, okay? So we not judging. This is a zero free judgment zone. But I will say this. Auntie Glenn killed this role, okay? And that is my auntie from here on out. So she plays the mom, or the grandmom. She's the mom to Ebony, the grandma to the kids. And basically, they live in this house. The daddy is away at the war. He's in Iraq somewhere. They haven't heard from him. But he's still sending money to the kids, and the kids still have contact with him. And basically, Ebony is an alcoholic, and she's a mean-ass alcoholic. I'm talking about mean. I was like, oh, I'm scared, okay? There was a scene where they were sitting at the table having dinner, and the youngest boy, damn, I forgot his name just that quick, Jenkins. What's his name in the movie? Andre. In the movie, Andre is like, he says he wanted some more milk, and she was like, no, you can't have no more milk because you lactose intolerant. And he like, you ain't take me to a doctor to say that. You just made that up because you being cheap. And she backhands him in the face. And at first I thought he lost a tooth because he was like grabbing his mouth, but left his lip bloody. It's another scene where the kids are coming home from school, and the eldest son is like, has bruises on his face. I guess he's getting beat up by the neighborhood kids. And she snaps. She goes out to the little gang, and she like, who put their hands on my son? Kick the boy in the nuts. Going off on the boy like, yeah, little bitch. Yeah, little bitch, don't put your hands on my fucking son. Like, she was, I was like, okay, mama. I was scared, okay? I'm not even her child, but baby, I was scared. Miss Andra Day, she played the hell out of this role. I'm talking about a real nasty, mean, alcoholic ass mama who got issues. Like, okay, that's her Heath Ledger role. Like, she really got into character and had to like tap into some demons because she was really playing it too well for me. Y'all let me know if y'all saw that. So anyway, so the premise is, you know, the mom is an alcoholic. Like I said, she's mean, she's an alcoholic. The mom lives there, and really the mom is playing defense for the kids because she is constantly yelling at the kids. She's constantly yelling at the kids. She's constantly nitpicking with them about just everything. And so Glenn Close's character, Berna, I think that was her name, right? Berna Morgan. I thought they were calling her Berna. Grandma Berna. Anyway, I think they would call her Grandma Berna, something like that. But her name is Morgan in the movie. She's playing defense for the kids. Like, she has the kids' best interest. But she has cancer. So she's going back and forth to chemo. She's wearing her 27-piece wigs, okay? 27 613 wigs. 27-piece 613, okay? Don't play with Auntie Glenn. I was so... The costuming... Let me say something, Lee Daniels. You might have did your big one with this one because the costuming was on point. It really was for Auntie Glenn. I wasn't mad at it. She was giving very much Ronnie Ho quotes from Players Club. It was giving every bit of old auntie in a club, okay? So she goes back and forth to chemo, and she is fucking Mike Epps. Mike Epps is her nurse. So random. Like, Mike Epps is so random in this movie. But he fucking on Glenn Close, and we see that later because Ebony, Andra Day, she has a birthday party. She getting lit, she getting loose, and we see Mike Epps show up. And at one point, one of her many nights that she's passed out, she hears all this blumping. Well, actually, before she passes out, her son is like staring at the wall. Like, there starts to be occurrences where the son is just doing a bunch of weird stuff. Like, the night he wanted the milk, he's standing in front of the refrigerator and just drinking the milk down, right? Spilling all everywhere. A crow hits the window. He goes outside and looks at the dead crow. And from there, it's just very weird with the little boy. He's talking to himself outside on the swing. And so the night of her birthday, he's like facing the wall, having a whole conversation with nobody. And she's drunk, right? She done turned up. Shout out to Miss Lawrence. I was like, is that Miss Lawrence? Y'all remember from Real Housewives? Miss Lawrence is in the movie. Shout out to Miss Lawrence. That's her friend, and they get to going back and forth. That scene was so funny. It was like, you pussy ass hoe, you sissy bitch. That's why your pussy stank. Like, this, the writing gave very authentic. Okay, Lee Daniels, like I said, you might have did your big one because I'm glad you didn't come Tyler Perry with bad wigs, bad acting, overacting, and a bad script. Okay, I'm gonna get on you towards the end, but so far the movie was really good. Like the setup to the mess, they built it really, really good. It kept my attention the entire time. Like, every scene, something was happening. You know what I mean? Like, you know how movies start slow and then they pick up at the end. This movie, the reason why I'm gonna still say it's good, because even though I didn't like the end, and the end was anticlimactic, the build up of everything to the end of the movie, every single scene, it was something going on that had me clutching my pearls. I was, oh, like, it was so many scenes like that. So anyway, the son is talking to himself. She's passed out drunk again. Okay, she's constantly passed out drunk. She hears all this blamming, and Auntie Glenn is letting Mike Epps out the house. Okay, baby, you can't stay the night. Okay, you could come and chill for a little bit. Okay, OG Sneaky Link say you could come chill for a little bit, but you gotta go home. You can't stay here. Okay, you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get up out of here. Okay, and so she just seeing all these occurrences. So then at one point, she wakes up and she hears this blamming, and she goes into the room, and we don't see what happens. But then when Glenn Close comes, she hears all the rumbling. She comes in the room. The three kids are up against the wall, like huddled together. And the mom, Ebony, is in the middle of the room. You see a bat on the floor. And the son had been doing a mural. Like, the youngest son, Andre, he's like really an artist. He had this whole side of the wall that he had done this mural on. And when Glenn Close comes in the room, you see a bat on the floor and like drywall everywhere, which it looks like she's been hitting the wall. But she has no recollection of doing that. And the kids are frightened off to the side. And the youngest boy, like Glenn Close, is like, well, what happened? And the oldest boy is like, I don't know. The girl is silent, the daughter. And the youngest boy was like, she pushed us up against the wall. And she was like, no, I didn't. So also a recurring thing is social services frequently pays a visit. That the social worker is played by none other than Monique. Glad to see Monique in a role. Glad to see Lee Daniels put Monique in a role. Like, really let that sink in. Like, that's really deep. Now, Monique doesn't have this huge role, but she is necessary, and the scenes that she is in are impactful. I'll say that. So because the kids are like going to school, they like battered and beat up every day, bruises on the arms, on the face, and no one has a recollection of how they're getting these bruises and stuff, right? Because essentially they're blacking out in the house, and they're like abusing each other. That's what I got out of it. Like, the mom is abusing the kids are abusing each other, and so they don't even know where they're getting these bruises from, because they're in this like paranormal state of probably sleepwalking, and so they don't even know what's going on. So when Monique comes to the house, it just looks like the mom is abusing the kids. Again, the mom has a history of alcohol abuse, and that's why the social worker is there in the first place. And she's stressed out about it. She's like, you know, the daddy is away in Iraq, and I'm taking care of all these kids, so it's kind of stressful, right? So anyway, so she's like, it's stressful, right? I'm taking care of these kids. She tells Monique this one day, she comes for a visit one day. She said, if you had kids, you would understand how stressful it is. And Monique explains, like, I had a child, I had a son, and I turned my back for one moment, and he ended up getting hit by a car and dying. So they have a moment where it's like the mom was thinking that Monique was preying on her or not being fair with her, but whole time Monique just wanted to see the kids be okay, because she lost her own child. So she's a social worker that just really wanted to see the kids be okay. So then there's another scene where the youngest son, she's giving the youngest son a bath, and she steps away to answer the phone because her phone is ringing and nobody is answering her phone in the house, so she has to go downstairs. When she comes back up, the oldest son is strangling the baby in the tub. Now, this was a very long scene. I was like, I thought the little boy was finna die. I thought they were finna kill him off. I was like, I don't know what's going on. She pulls the son off, and Glenn Close comes in the bathroom, Auntie Glenn, and they just have a moment. She jumps in the tub with the baby and is holding him, and the son just have a real like blank face. You can see like his eyes are getting like dark circles under his eyes, so he's getting to the place of being fully possessed. But so is the oldest boy. He's possessed. So all the kids go to school. Okay, all the kids are possessed. The mama possessed. The Auntie Glenn got cancer. The house is just haunted, right? The house had bad energy in it. So all the kids go to school. So the youngest boy, Andre, he goes to school, and while he's in class, he asked the teacher, like, you know, he has to go to the bathroom. And so the teacher I forget if the teacher told him yes or no, but he had to go to the bathroom. So he gets up and goes to the back of the classroom, and he proceeds to use the bathroom in the classroom, like number 2. And the teacher's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Andre? Go back to your seat. What are you doing? And the kids are just like watching and laughing. He proceeds to pick up the poop and throw it at the teacher, and everybody starts running. We pan over to the oldest son. He's in class, and the teacher is talking about HIV/AIDS, and her brother got HIV and he died, and he had lepers and all this other kind of stuff, and he's cracking up laughing. And so the teacher is getting more and more agitated with him because it's a serious topic, and he's cracking up laughing. And then he like falls to the floor and he's laughing, and then he gets up and he stands in her face. They don't show him doing anything. He just kind of stands in her face, like, you know, real threatening. And then the daughter, she's at like band practice, and shout out to her icy whites, okay? She had her G Fazos on. She walks up and tells the teacher something in his ear, and the teacher looks at her, and when they pan down, she's bleeding, like she's having her period or something. So like all 3 kids at the same time simultaneously are having like weird episodes at school. So naturally, they send all the kids to the hospital to get checked out. They do CAT scans, and the doctor is sitting down with Ebony and Auntie Glenn, and the doctor's like, ain't nothing wrong with the kids. Like, we did all these tests, they seem fine. Like, have they been gone through something traumatic? And the traumatic instance, right, it was that the son just almost tried to drown the other son. The mama yelling, she an alcoholic, the social worker at the house. It's just chaos. And so Auntie Glenn is kind of like, let these people help you. Like, you need help with these kids. You're my daughter, but like something wrong with you, and we need help. You know what I mean? So, so she gets a snapping off, but they have to take the kids into custody because like there's something going on with the kids or whatever, right? So no, they don't take the kids into custody yet. They send the kids home because they don't think nothing wrong with the kids. So then later on, she's driving in the car with the 3 kids, and as she's driving, she sees in the rearview mirror the youngest son, like his eyeballs turned black, and he was like, it's your fault. Because she was out. What was she doing? She went to go meet up. There is a lady who calls herself an apostle who does, it's not an exorcism, but she does a deliverance. And this lady was telling her like, hey, your house is haunted. You're not a bad mom. There was a family who lived in that house before you, and the mom cut the daddy head off. Then she strangled the daughter. She killed herself. And so she was explaining to her like something is in that house, and that house has gotten itself, that bad energy has attached itself to your kids. So she was out with that lady at the McDonald's having a well, no, that's Wendy's. She was at the McDonald's having a 2 for $5, okay? And the whole time, Auntie Glenn was at the house with the kids, and the spirit come across Auntie Glenn, and she tried to grab a Bible, and the spirit then killed her and choked her out. So the mama come home, and Auntie Glenn is on the floor, dead. It's a fire in the house, like the cross on the wall that Auntie Glenn had put up was on fire. The smoke alarm going off, is smoky throughout the house. And so she runs upstairs to kind of check on the kids, and the youngest son comes downstairs, and she's like, what happened? Because the mom is dead. And the kids is like, we don't know. Like, again, we don't know what happened. We were here, but we don't know. So then Auntie Glenn is dead. So they call the police. Now this is when they were like, okay, what is going on? Like, something going on. So she gets in the car with the kids, and she's driving, and the little boy, that's when his eyes get black, and he's like, it's your fault that your mom died. Like, he starts talking in this devil tone. And so she like skirts off on the side of the road, and she jumps out the car and runs into a restaurant, and she's like trying to get help. She's like, something is trying to kill my kids. And so the man run outside, and he opens the door, and the kids are like passed out in the car. Because again, they're having these episodes of being possessed, and they wake up and they don't remember. So now they take the kids into custody. They take her into custody, and she's talking with the therapist, and she's trying to say she hadn't been drinking. And they were like, girl, we took your blood. You've definitely been drinking. Have you had thoughts about having thoughts about harming yourself or harming others? And do you hear loud noises and banging? Are you stressed? And all of the things that have been happening kind of correlate to what the therapist is saying. So she kind of has a moment where she's crying because all of those things have been happening. She don't know if she's crazy or not. She don't know if the kid's crazy or not. It's just crazy shit going on. The youngest son is in the hospital, and they got him tied down to the bed, and he's throwing up puke. They like, he been doing this for 30 minutes, just possessed. So finally, all the nurses, they come out the room, they tie him to the bed, and Monique want to go in there. And Monique is like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the kids, because something going on with the kids, right? And the little boy, this was very dramatic. Like, I don't think this happened. I could be wrong, but the little boy comes out of the harness. He jumps on the floor. He tells Monique about her son. And she was like, how do you know I have a son? Did your mom tell you? And he was like, my mom is dead. And, basically the boy who was possessed in the house previously is like coming through him. That's who he was kind of talking to and everything like that. So Monique now is seeing it for herself. And she's like, oh shit, this boy then jumped on the wall like a spider. it's some crazy shit going on. So she tried to go get the head doctor to say, we need to do something. The whole time, Miss Ebony, she didn't broke her son out the hospital because she want to take him to the apostles so that they can do like the deliverance. So they take him back to the house. She do the little deliverance on him. She say, whatever he do, don't listen to him because he's going to try to appeal to you. Like, we have to go through with this. She got the holy water. And then the son, the little boy, he turns into the grandma. Turns into Auntie Glenn. Okay. Cancer-stricken Auntie Glenn. Meanwhile, the daughter is at some home, okay, and she gets to waking up and she has like blood coming out of her eyes, her nose, her mouth. The other son, he's at like the Audi home and he's biting his arm, like he's scratching himself, like he's self-mutilating while she's trying to get this demon out. Girl, the demon, then they done went into the basement. The demon and killed the apostle lady who was trying to get the stuff out. She say, I'm dying. Here, take this holy water and don't be scared. Like, get that demon out your son. So she going through the motions, and the demon then turned into her now. Like, now the demon is her. She's seeing herself. She's fighting herself. Got her banging her head on the concrete in the basement. It was a mess. It was a lot. And that was the part that I really couldn't get with. Like, the end seemed so fake. And then, like, the mom sees herself and wants to take care of the kids, and she has a revelation and she's like, oh, I rebuke you, and Lord help me, and then it explode and all of this and da da da. She get the demon out the son, and the kids are taken away from her, and then, you know, she's in a scene at the house and she's packing to move out the house. Monique is there and she's like, you know, it's gonna be an uphill battle, but we gonna get your kids back. You know, we gonna get your kids back, because at least from Monique's perspective, Monique's seen some of the supernatural stuff. So Monique is like on board with like, okay, girl, you not as crazy as I thought. It's some scurry shit. Shout out to my twin, Regina Hall. It's some scurry shit going on in this house. So at the end, they show her with, she got her kids, she got reunited with her kids, and they're driving down the road because they done moved out the house. They going back to, I forget where they were going back to, but she got a cousin or something that they were going back to that house. They showed the actual house. They showed the actual woman, what was her first name? Rebecca Amons. What was her name? The lady, the real lady, her name was Latoya Amons. They showed the house. They showed her. So the house, this happened in 2011, and they said nobody lived in the house, and then they bulldozed the house and tore it down in 2016, and they were saying to this day, scurry shit be going on around the plot where their house was, which sadly, I didn't look it up, but I probably think that they haven't even built anything over where that plot was. It probably just was a demolition. You know how they do in the inner city. They'll tear a building down, tear a house down, and then it's a lot. It's an empty lot until, I don't know when, gentrification. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, it was good. It's worth watching. Let me know what y'all think about it. Like, what was your favorite part? Are y'all feeling Auntie Glenn? Do y'all know about Auntie Glenn being the OG sneaky link in the hand that rocks the cradle? Do y'all know about Auntie Glenn? Okay, OG sneaky link, Auntie Glenn. OG side piece, Auntie Glenn. Cooking up the rabbit stew, Auntie Glenn. Do y'all know about Auntie Glenn? Okay, because Auntie Glenn, she's my favorite character in this movie. Overall, the movie, for me, the movie was good. I definitely, I'm glad I watched it. I think out of a 10, I would give it like a 6.5. Like, I feel like the ending is what the ending is, right? It's based on a true story. So I guess they couldn't go too extreme and extravagant with the story. But the end, when they be in the basement and I rebuke you and all of that, I just was like, I'm scared to even say something like how I want to say it, because then I don't want them bad spirits to come try to visit me because I'm talking about it. But I didn't like it. I'm going to just say I didn't like it. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. But the movie itself, the build up to the end was so good. So Lee Daniels, you did your big one, and I appreciate it. And yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about the movie. Let's get down in the comments and talk about it. Have you ever had a supernatural experience? Let's also talk about that. Okay, let me know. Have y'all had a supernatural experience in a house that you've lived in, whether you were grown, you were a child? Let's talk about it. Okay, child, I almost said let's not. We're not summoning nobody. Okay, I rebuke the bad spirits. Okay, we're not doing that. But let's talk about it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye bye.